This conference will now be recorded.
All right, Cooney. What's up, my man? How's it going?
Nothing much, man. Just playing some baseball. I mean, I've been battling a little shoulder injury for the past week or two, but I think we're finally figuring it out and hopefully be back this weekend, Saturday.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for joining us, dude. I started just wanting to do these things, especially for our community, and just tell some of you guys' stories for the young kids that are coming through now. And just, it's pretty amazing. I just sat down with Bubba and I've sat down with Gav, and man, you don't really understand the power of some of you guys' stories until you talk about it again, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff.
How how's the season going at Easton, man? How do you like that program down there?
Oh, the program is great. I mean, the coaches who came in really done a great job. I mean, done so much to the field, the culture, everything is just like everything's going up. I mean, Coach Price has done a great job, and he brought in Coach Gall and Coach Browning. And I mean, to be honest with you, the culture from last year to this year is just night and day. It's really really good.
Awesome, man. So let me get into this, dude. I was thinking about this the other day when I was talking to Bubba, but the one thing I want to touch on, man, and the one thing I respect about your story is that a lot of people see you playing college baseball now, but a lot of people don't see the story where it came from. So I was sitting in here the other day, man, and I was kind of laughing because me and Bessie were talking, and I said, I still remember the lessons that we did right when you were probably about 12 or 13. And your dad came in and you're on the same thing as Bubba. You're on the verge of like not knowing what you wanted to do. It was kind of that point because you were small back then, dude. It was just you hadn't grown yet, but you still had the work ethic. But it was right on the verge of like quitting. But I remember we did like a 6 lesson pack together, and then you kind of went on your way. And then years later, I seen you, and there was just a huge switch. So I just want you to talk about, man, how it felt when you're on the verge of quitting, and what you said to yourself, and what was that mental toughness you had to say to yourself to continue to push through when you were smaller, when you didn't have the chance right off the bat, but you earned everything coming forward. Like, just what was the stuff that you did in those tough times to get you through to what you're
I
doing
mean,
now,
yeah,
man?
it was definitely tough because I mean, it's no secret that I really never had the size. I mean, really, from whenever I started playing baseball, I was smaller then, and even now in college, like there's 6'2", 225-pound dudes. When it got tough, really, I mean, I could have just given up and called it quits, but I uh, I thought about it, and it's like, well, I love the game, and I was just like, do I really want to go on and play college baseball? And the answer was yes. So I was like, well, I mean, it may not be going great for me right now. I don't have the size, but I know it'll come. So I mean, I really kept grinding. I mean, and I really don't like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't regret it happening because it really gave me the work ethic I have. And now that I am like the size I am and getting closer to these dudes, it's like I feel like I have a stronger work ethic than them. And I really feel like it helped me out in the long run. And it will continue to help me even past baseball, like in the real life.
Yeah, that's no doubt, man. And some of the kids today, man, they don't understand that fact. I went and talked to the school yesterday and just trying to get them to understand, like, listen, man, the foundation you stand on in your college career is what you start building back in elementary school and middle school. And these tests, it was the same thing with Bubba, man. Like, all this adversity he had when he was younger, by pushing through that, he's able to handle the stuff now. And you're exactly right, dude. Once you quit playing, it transitions straight over into real life, man. It is identical. The game is just a tool that teaches us,
Yeah,
you know. And once you understand that fact about the game, you can really appreciate what the game truly is, you know.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
then
I
talk
actually
about, man.
remember.
Go ahead.
I said I remember when I'd come in when I was like 12 or 13. I remember a night specifically when I had my Troy Polamalu jersey on, and we were doing the lesson in the cage doing divers. it's times like those too that just make you, you create those memories even now at college and even at the high school level too. So
Yeah, so just talk about this, man. Growing up in Farmington, all right, spending your life here with all your boys, man. Talk about some of the greatest times you've had in this town and some of the greatest memories you had playing baseball in this area and just some of the greatest memories you have from around here, man, because I've got to witness it on the field. I've got to see you do what you do with at Piedra Vista and just what your dad's done and everything else. But just talk about some of the times growing up, man, with your boys. What was some of the greatest memories you remember?
I mean, really, it starts with back in about Willie Mays, that age period, when we'd go to Oklahoma and Georgia and Puerto Rico to play in all those World Series. I mean, those were the first times we really went and competed against people like outside of our little circle. I mean, that's when we kind of found out, like, I mean, hey, we might be the best here, but there's more out there. Like, and I feel like that taught us some good lessons, and we made some good memories. And then obviously in high school, I mean, the state tournament my senior year, that was obviously one of the best times I've had playing baseball. I mean, it didn't end up as we wanted it to, but getting the opportunity to play in the state championship was a good experience. And then even last year, being able to come back and play in Connie Mack one last time, even though we didn't make the World Series, I mean, it's still an experience to really have, just playing in the city tournament and making those memories.
Yeah, and just talk about, I love hearing this because Bubba said it the other day too, and Gavin said it, but I love the pride that you guys talk about being able to step on the field as a state championship team at Piedra Vista. And did that influence come from seeing the guys before you do the same thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it'd always be like you'd get to May and it'd be like, dang, like you guys want to go down and watch state baseball? So we'd go down and watch the dudes that came before us, and it just, made it like the dream. Like, hey, I kind of want to do that one day. Like, I want to be the dude out there playing. I want to be the dude out there winning a state championship. Like that was always the goal. And I mean, there really always is a goal. Like now it's, win a conference championship, make it to the national tournament, something like that. There's always something to really look forward to.
Yeah, it was funny, man. I was talking to Bessie yesterday, and he was all fired up hearing just the stories from you guys from growing up and stuff. And he said he kind of ripped the PV kids the other day because they were kind of out there messing around. But he said it in a good way, and I was kind of proud of him for saying this. He went out there and explained all the people that have been on that field before those kids took the field, and that there's a respect that you have to have when you put that uniform on and step out on that field and represent our town. And I really love that fact because I love hearing it come from you and Shiloh and all these people before. But these kids today, they need to know that, man. They are setting the standard for the next generation. And just playing and how much it means to the kids of our town to play Connie Mack, to play in the state titles. Our town is going so much better in the baseball community when we're up winning state titles and we're up winning, and that pride's there, and it's good to
Yeah.
hear people talk about that pride in Farmington, because I'm so proud to be a part of this area, and I know all the kids are too, and I think sometimes we lose back to that. But I mean, you guys are flying the flag at college right now. There's a good bunch of kids at college right now, man. I mean, champions come out of this town, and that's why I started doing this, is because I want these kids and the people to know that this town breeds winners.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, take the high school programs around here, man. We've had so many great kids come through that have set it up, man. And it's just amazing to see what you guys are doing. And I love the fact, like, stories like you and Bubba are these kids that never had the greatest ability in the world, but they never quit. And you're doing things, man. Like, take this in perspective, dude. Me and you can sit here and talk about it, but no one thought you were going to be doing what you're doing right now.
Absolutely not.
Nobody,
Some,
dude. And that's what people have to understand, is that if you have a dream, if you work your butt off and that's what you want to do, there's nothing that can stop you. It's only yourself.
yeah, I mean, definitely, because I mean, I was really going into my senior year. I mean, I didn't have any colleges looking at me. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to play after my senior year. It was kind of just like, well, I mean, if I get an opportunity, I get an opportunity, but if not, I mean, this could be it. And I was fortunate enough to head out to this camp, and they gave me a shot before I even actually played a varsity inning. So very thankful
That's
for that.
Bessie said that the other day, dude, and that blew me away. That absolutely blew me away. I didn't even know that before you played a varsity inning that you got signed to go to college.
Yeah, it was crazy
I mean, that's an incredible story, man. I mean, that you just can't even write that stuff.
for sure. Yeah, it was, and it really gave me an opportunity because I mean, coming in and then getting this new coaching staff, I mean, it was just kind of like a blessing in disguise at the time, and now it's like it's all paying off.
Yeah, man. I absolutely love that program down there, being close to home, and seeing you. What Coach Cheese is down there too, man. How's he
Heck
doing?
yeah, he's doing good.
Cool.
He's uh he's a dual guy as well, so I mean, I actually faced him yesterday. Faced old Coach Cheese.
Well, that's good to hear, man. He
Yeah,
put in the work too, man. I'm gonna have to get him on one of these days because his story's pretty amazing too, man. So now
yeah.
let me just ask you this, man. That work ethic growing up, is that coming from seeing your parents, man, and just how they work? Like, where does that come from? That grit and determination, that inner fire that makes you, that got you through that stuff, man. Where does that come from?
Well, yeah, definitely part of it comes from my parents, obviously, taking care of me growing up, putting food on the table, making the money. And my dad too. My dad would always sit me down, talk to me. I mean, he'd tell me like it's no secret, like you're smaller, you're gonna have to work harder. Like it's not coming easy to you. And that was the biggest thing he did for me was always, talk to me instead of just saying like, you know, go out there, do whatever. He would just break it down and say, look, like you got to work harder. If you want to play high school baseball, you're gonna have to work harder to do it. If you don't want to play, you can be a part of the team and just, sit there, watch, run something. But no, he definitely always pushed me to my limits, and yeah,
Dude, that's just a great piece right there because I love hearing it from your perspective, from a parent's approach. But I love the fact I said this yesterday to the kids, man. We try to soften this world for the kids, and it doesn't work out well. But I love the fact the way your dad said he didn't try to soften that for you. He's like, you've got
yeah,
to be tougher.
yeah. That I'm glad he didn't, make it easy on me because I feel like if I would have done that, I wouldn't be playing college baseball right now because there's no way I could have.
Yeah, there's no way, man. That's absolutely amazing to hear that from that side. But now tell the kids around here, dude, these kids that want to go play college baseball. So listen, everyone loves the college scholarship in high school when you're the kid and you get your picture in the paper and everything's
Yeah,
glamorous. But then when you go up to that next level, I know how it is, man. It ain't glamorous. You're grinding.
nope.
You're by yourself for the first time. You got schoolwork. You got responsibilities. What's the biggest difference from being in high school and then going to that college level? What's the biggest difference, and how do you be successful at that next level? And what are some of the things you're dealing with, man?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different from the high school level. From the high school level, first of all, you play 2 games a week usually once you get to district, and now it's like you play 4 games a week, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And in high school, you play whatever you go home, you have food cooked for you, parents do your laundry, whatever. Now it's you live on your own, so you play, and say you have a bad day, you go home and you're by yourself now too. So it's like you have to cope with yourself and to kind of talk to yourself and get yourself. So if you're in a slump, like it's really on you. Like you got to go in and do extra work. Like it's not going to be your parents saying or your dad saying, "Let's go hit." Like you need to go hit. Like you have to get yourself up and go. Like go to the cages at night, and it's hard to do when you have. I mean, you wake up, go to the training room, couple hours, go to class, go to practice, and it's 7 o'clock already. You have homework, but you got to go grind. Like, it's on you. It's not on anybody else. It's your job at this point. It's
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I love hearing it, man, because I remember when I first signed to go to pro ball, mommy and daddy did everything for me, man.
Yeah,
And then
that's how.
I remember staying in a hotel And every couple weeks, I would have to stuff my suitcase full of my laundry, call a taxi, and then jump in a taxi, go to a laundromat, do my laundry, and then I would hike across the road to the 7-Eleven, get on a payphone, because we didn't have cell phones back then, call a payphone, call the taxi, and have to get the taxi back. But it was one of the greatest things I loved because it forced me to find out who I was and
Yeah.
me being a man. And I always wanted that challenge, just like you do, man. And I always wanted it harder. And the harder it was, I wanted to see if I could handle it, you know? And it's the same way with Gav right now. Gav, he's just crushing it down there with his schoolwork. And it's like, I love hearing you guys saying you want that challenge. Like, it's just, you continue to look for that mountaintop. And as you come out of this game, man, it's going to be the same in your business, your life. It's that attitude you create every day to every
Yeah.
task that you do. If every time you wake up every day, you're like, I'm going to be great. That's all you have to think. Don't put any limits on the rest. Don't say, oh, well, you can't go play college baseball if you're a skinny kid, because you've proved that to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we all have these things we've proved to be wrong. And it's like, all you have to do, and this is what I've learned, is that if you can just get up every day and say, you know what, God, you gave me this opportunity. These are my talents. I'm going to give my best to you today. You will do things that you never, ever dreamed of. When you
For
had
sure.
no
Yeah.
hope and you didn't think you were going to play college baseball, all you did was get up and give your best, even when there was no, the dream was only inside your head, man. But you
Yeah.
felt it, you gave your best to it, and now look, you're doing things that no one on this planet thought you were going to do.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of dudes from our class, that's kind of the story because you look back and me, Dalen, Cody, Chase, Brendan, we're playing on a field when we're 10 years old, like not knowing not knowing Dalen's going to be at Midland or Chase is going to be going to U of A. It's like you never knew that back then, and we never had the size either. Like we were good, but we go to other places like Georgia and Oklahoma and that, and those dudes made us look like little kids. It's like we never knew back then, but it's really like really amazing.
Yeah, just that work ethic that you guys created, man. Like I talked to Dalen a couple weeks ago, and he's like, he remembers just coming in here and competing. Like when I used to make him the Red Sox, and I would be the Yankees, and we would do
Yeah,
those little competitions. And he's like, I never realized it back then, but you were teaching me to compete. He goes, I have that same way of thinking right now at Midland. And he goes, he understood finally it was the attitude behind the work. It wasn't actually the work itself. And that's what's going to carry over into your business. It's the attitude behind how you approach the work. That's being your best, man. And I've even learned that just coaching. I've been humbled like coaching the last few weeks just from like hearing that from some of the great coaches in the past, where it's like it's not about winning, it's about you being your best. And sometimes you give your best, you're not going to win on the scoreboard, but
yeah,
you can win inside every single day. And that's what you guys have done, man. And it, coming through with no size, no one thinking you can do it. That's why I want to tell people your stories, man, because you've done things that these kids need to hear today. That, hey, man, there's so many kids out here now, Kuhn, that were in that same age as you and Bubba, 12, 13, 14, before they get to high school. That's where everyone quits, dude.
yeah,
Everyone quits at that age. You should see the numbers fall off from when people are 12, 13, and then they quit going into high school. And a lot has to do is because they get cut. They're not good enough. And instead of saying, you know what, this is my dream, I'm going to make it happen, they're just like, oh, I'm good, I quit.
yeah. I actually remember that was so eighth grade year. I remember the last day of tryouts was actually like indoors at Heights. And he was telling everyone, giving their jerseys to whoever made the team or whatever. And the last three were me, Brendan, and Grant. And I remember going in there, and he was basically telling, like you guys are on the bubble. You made the team, but I mean, you guys are going to basically, develop. Which it was actually pretty crushing. But then again, if you look back, that's something you could use as motivation. Like that's the hardest time I went through as a baseball player, but also I think it's the most important time that I went through, and I wouldn't trade it for anything really. Like
Yeah,
I
and
really thought, yeah,
you take you three kids, you're all winning right now. You know, you're all winners out there doing their thing, and I love that story, man. I love the fact, and I want people to understand too, just how you just said it was the most crushing day of my life. Like, because you got to put it in perspective of when you're a 13-year-old boy, man. When someone tells you you're not good enough to be on the team at 13, that's crushing. I said the same story at the school yesterday, man. The greatest thing that ever happened in my life, I was 11 years old, and I went away on this travel team. And I was okay at the time. And then the coach sat me on the bench. And I remember watching these kids play in front, and I didn't go home and cry about it. I didn't go in the corner and say, oh, the coach hates me, this and that. I remember looking my dad in the face and saying, I will never sit on the bench again. What can we do? And he put up a trampoline mat. I had a tee and a bucket of balls. And every day I hit for hours. You're talking psychotic hours I hit. And I never sat on the bench again from that day. 4 years after that decision, I signed the youngest at the time to sign a pro contract in Australia. But it took the coach sitting me on the bench to light that fire inside that eventually made me a professional athlete.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see too many kids today, the same spot. They get to that point where it's so tough and they run the other direction. And the thing is, it's just like in the weight room or when you're taking your hacks. If every time something gets hard, your mindset is back off, I want out of here, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the weight room's so important, man. Like, talk about that. Just you getting in the weight room and making yourself into an athlete, man. You had to spend some serious time making yourself stronger.
Yeah, that was a big thing as well. I mean, that's at PV we really did a great job of that, especially once we got our new weight room. You know, we had these programs that we lift every day. Like, it didn't matter if we had a game that day or, you know, whatever it was. We were lifting really Monday through Friday. And that's a big thing today too. Like, a lot of dudes think, you know, you lift during season, you're gonna get hurt, but really it's the opposite. You know, you stay in the weight room, it's actually gonna keep you healthy. And growing up, I really feel like the weight room, because I feel like if I didn't have the weight room in high school, it would have been even worse because I was already small enough as it was.
Right.
So without the weight room, it was just, you know, that was a vital part in making me really who I am today as well. And it teaches you know how to push through some of the workouts. I remember we'd have a Christmas camp week back from winter break, and it was kind of just like, you know, a hell week. It was like, get through it. And
I remember those camps, man. They were, and
yeah,
you're right, dude. They just did. The athletes around here that came through that bought into the lifting. But you're exactly right, man. I was talking to Bubba and Grant about this over the break in the weight room, and they were lifting with Dom and me. And every time I made it a little harder, they'd be like, "Oh, I can't do that." And I'm like, "You think it's just the set in here, but it's the mindset behind the set.
yeah,
That every time it gets harder, you're teaching yourself, oh, I want out of here. It's too hard." And then Grant really understood it. He's like, I never understood that fact before. You see, the things we do in life are the tools, but the attitude and the mindset stay the same, whether it's your schoolwork, your business, your baseball, anything else. All that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you giving your best to wherever you're at the present moment.
yeah, for sure.
And when you do that, man, it's limitless of what you can do. You're a tribute to that. Bubba's a tribute to that. We're all a tribute to this around here. And that's why I want people to understand that's what has been bred out of this town, man. I want that pride back in this community to where, you know, you've seen it over the years. Bubba talked about this the other day. We missed an opportunity with Connie Mack in this town with you guys, man. There should have
Yeah,
been one killer host team, dude.
yeah. I really feel like we could have had a great team. I mean, it's nice, you know, through the city tournament having the competition. But then again, you know, once you get to the World Series, it's like, man, well, if we had all these dudes on the same team, you know,
Yep.
gives us a better chance to actually, you know, compete and, you know, for the town.
Yeah, that's what we were saying, man. Like maybe like an all-star team or something where, you know what, in the summer, you have to perform to represent our community at the Connie Mack World Series. Like you have to earn that right to step out on that field. And man, I hope it goes back that way, man, because I'd love to be watching it because I really feel like over the years that our town kind of went that way, man. It kind of like went this way, and it was just now that we're older, and I look back, it was like such waste of garbage, man. It was too many opportunities wasted because it was just stupid at the time, man. The
Yeah.
town, we're too small of a town to be split, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially with all these dudes, coming up from Midland and all the dudes they have already, which is going to put us at a disadvantage,
Yep.
whether we're all together or not. So we might as well, give ourselves the best chance.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, I tell you what, Kuhn, I just want to tell you from me to you, and with what I do and what I understand about competing, what you've done, dude, is absolutely incredible, man. Like,
I
I've
appreciate
never
it.
been so proud. Like, when you played against me last year, and it's funny, I'd say this to your dad, when we played, and I was like, dude, it's just great to be out in the field. And, like, I've had a part of everyone's story, and it's like, I don't care if you're playing for PV or the Oilers or anyone else.
Yeah.
It's like, I love seeing the fact that you accomplished everything you dreamed of because I seen you at your lowest. And
Yeah,
people
for
and
sure.
to do that, man, it's a tribute to what kind of kid you are, man. It's a tribute to what warrior spirit you had inside. It's a tribute to your parents, to the man they created you to be. It's a tribute to Mike and PV and the strike zone and just everyone that's had a part. We had a part of it, but it all comes down to that you did it, man. And those moments you were alone and everything was telling you to quit, I respect the fact you took the next step, man. And I'm so proud of you for down there playing college baseball, dude. It's absolutely amazing. And I know you're going to be a winner at anything you do, man. So I
I
respect
appreciate
you
it.
for that, bud.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And thanks for joining us, dude. I'll let you get up. When do you play next?
We have a double Saturday against Oklahoma Christian.
Well, all the best in that double, man. Tell Coach East I said what's up, and we'll be in touch
sure.
soon, man. When you guys get back to town, we need to get the podcast with all you guys on, man. Everyone
yeah.
on one big
I'm with
podcast,
it.
dude, would be awesome.
Yes, we do. I'm with it.
Awesome, Cooney. Have a great
All
day,
right.
buddy. I'll catch
Sounds
up with you
good. You
soon, man.
too. Thanks
See
for
you,
having
brother.
me.
Bye, man.